should be good to go. Hello and welcome everyone back to another episode of Level 1 Adventuring, as all of our cameras and other visual elements are frantically loading into our scene here. Perfect. I'll put that on performance mode. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Wolf Scott. It is a pleasure to have all of our eyes back on the stream. What are you watching? If you are brand new to us, to this channel, Level 1 Adventuring is a tabletop role-playing game stream in all varieties. We do large form communal games like D&D, which you're going to see tonight. That is our usual Wednesday docket. But we also do smaller, like more intimate solo RPGs, as well as some digital RPGs like our Celasta playthrough. So there's a lot of content that you can watch. You can watch it here live on Twitch, or if you feel so inclined, you can watch all the episodes on YouTube, the previously ons, to catch up. We'd appreciate your follow there. All the socials. We post all of our go lives to Twitter, on the Discord, where I also post some D&D 5e homebrew stuff for you for free. Just take it, because I'm giving it to you, and we love you so much. And also, the Discord is going to be a play-by-post space for the community very, very soon. Big shout out to StreamLabs Stream Audio, StreamSpell, Tabletop Audio, and our chat bot that gives us all of our fun little tools that you're going to see used tonight. And there is a link down in our description for you to download them for yourself. If you're trying to upgrade your stream, it kicks us back some goodies, so we always appreciate that. And that was a lot to say, as I usually start off with, but that is the end of my intro. So I would love to have our friends here introduce themselves. And I think, would you just want to go? You just want to go whole hog, or should I popcorn you?
Popcorn.
All right, it turns out I'm gonna popcorn Lauren first.
Hey, my name's Lauren. I'm playing Grey Eden, and she is a half-orc druid. Popcorn, Kimani.
Hey y'all, it's Kimani. I play Musadil Assad, our humble and handsome bard, and I am excited for tonight. Oh, popcorn, of course, everywhere.
Hey everyone, my name is Amber, and I play Nandara Valier, our half-drow rogue. And last but not least, popcorn to Garrett.
Hi, I'm Garrett. I play our tiefling wizard, Yoan Byrne.
And I will party pick in front of the eyes of our audience so that they may see your beautiful character art of Grey, Musadi, Nadara, and Yoan here. Thanks to Luis Prado. Also, Minotaur23 redeemed a Just Lurkin in the chat, so thank you for hanging around. So we are going to be picking up our campaign, our ongoing 5e campaign, right where you left it off. Let me head back to game time. Places. Where we last left our intrepid hero. So the party has been hot on the heels of these mysterious bandit wizards known as the Forsaken. They've been hounding them over a couple of different trails and roads here in Riverholm because they were in pursuit of a magical item that the party was transporting on behalf of a knightly organization known as the Valiant of Mira. However, unfortunately, in the middle of the night, the Forsaken managed to take this box and disappear into the wilderness, and the party had to chase them down, found their hideout, which ended up being this carved-out cave in the side of a cliff face overlooking some rushing rapids, and they were beginning to spelunk their way through the Forsaken's lair. Some, I would say, hilarity ensued as they met one of the guardians of the Forsaken's compounds, a magic-obsessed creature and aberration known as a Nothic, although this one introduced itself, quote-unquote, as Creep. And the party tried to make friends with Creep, then did not do so hot at that. Creep started a fight with them, tried to eviscerate them. The party refused to let Creep not be their friend, and continued to try and use diplomacy as Creep slashed his way through their ranks. But eventually, kindness and quickness of wit won the day as they finally managed to coerce Creep into maybe helping them and listening to them. So, through Creep, they've basically found out that yes, this is the Forsaken's hideout, that yes, the Forsaken have taken a magical item of some import into this lair. It is somewhere in this compound that they are now hiding with it. But Creep, unfortunately, does not have full access to the lair. They have warded it specifically against aberrations in certain tunnels and passageways, because Nothics do love their magic items and their books and scrolls, which, you know, is a conflict of interest when you are an organization of runaway wizards trying to keep their own scrolls and spells safe. So the party sort of brokered a bit of a truce with Creep. Hey, you don't give us any trouble. You maybe help us when the time is right. We'll find a way to get you access into these hidden places, and you can be our friend. To which Creep did agree and oblige, but not before saying that he's probably going to keep a low profile until that time so he didn't rouse the ire of the wizards, to which the party allowed. So after that, the party decided to continue searching through the cavern, opened up one of the library wings of this underground little cave, basically a makeshift collection of books and scrolls that the wizards have been using for their studies while in hiding. This was one of the areas that was warded by one of the anti-aberrant sort of sigils, but that didn't really matter much to the party, and then Viola just straight up yanked the bar and lock straight off of the door with like a 22 strength check, so that wasn't really impeding your progress at all. The party went inside, and before they got to rummaging through many of the books, a magical defense was triggered, and it turns out that some of the spell books were animate. They were ensorcelled to become sort of a swarm of flying constructs, which battered the party and walloped them for a little bit, but the party was strong enough to turn those books away. I'm trying to think of a good book pun. Return them late, and then... and Kamani shaking his head, I liked it. And continue forward. The party did spend some time at the library to do some independent research on a variety of topics, and I won't go into the nature of all of it, but let's just say that some party members now have a much deeper understanding of some of their history and where their future may go, because this library had a bunch of lore that was useful to more than one of the party members. And then finally they pushed forward past this little library wing and found what appeared to be the barracks area of the Forsaken. Had a bunch of beds and equipment tables. Unfortunately for the party, it seemed mostly empty, considering that they'd already battled their way through like 6 Forsaken just to get here. You can imagine that most of them were on patrol or slain by the party's hand, but they decided to look around just in case. They found one thing of note, sort of tucked away in a false flag stone. They pulled it out and found what appeared to be a lockbox, which had a few magical runes etched across its surface. Definitely this thing is warded to protect it from being opened, and it is traditionally locked and bound. So whatever's in here, the Forsaken definitely are trying to keep under close eye. But before the party had too much time to investigate that, there was a sound towards the back, towards the entrance of the room where they had previously come in at, and they saw a bit of the bedding that they were rolling through, they were checking through, suddenly pop up in the air and run towards the exit of the cavern, because there appeared to be a Forsaken in hiding, perhaps under an illusory spell, perhaps a veil of invisibility, who had gotten word that the party was coming here as they were fighting their way through the books, and now was trying to hightail it before they were apprehended by the party. And that's essentially where we left off. So the party has this lockbox. There's literally the sounds of boot falls disappearing behind them deeper into the cavern complex. And that is where we called it. So, as usual, party, friends, adventurers, do you have any bits of business that you want to talk about or, wrap up before we pick up where we left off? As my phone rings.
So it sounded like we heard sound behind us, but we didn't see nothing because we're assuming they're invisible, yeah?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Cool.
Nothing for me.
Nothing?
Feeling good.
All right. So we do know that there is the sound of footsteps ever fleeting down these cavern passageways. Is the party giving chase, or are we letting them fly, or what's the deal?
So I have see invisibility.
Oh! Where were you last session?
Yeah, I'm about to say that would have been.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so I have see. So the spells that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, if the 5 spells I have, one of them, my level 2 is see invisibility. I just don't know how it works, but I do have it.
Well, we love when a timely use of a spell is available. Yes, absolutely. So I will double check the wording on see invisibility for you. But I
also have to ask too, since I'm a human, I can see invisible fine, but how far can I actually see since I'm a human and I don't have dark vision? How does that work in general?
That's a good question. Well, considering that this area is one of the this is like the barracks and towards the library. This area is relatively well lit, you know, sort of like a dim, I would say candlelight, but it's actually emanating from those runes in the floor. So it's definitely enough for you to see, you know, in front of your face and keep you moving.
Don't we also still have Musadi's dancing lights?
That is true. We, as long as, what's the word?
Musadi wasn't here last time.
Correct.
So we had borrowed, I think...
Oh, and Nadara had, I think,
dancing
conscripted the dancing
Yeah.
lights. So y'all are just, like, trading dancing lights between each other. Yeah, no, I mean, that's fine. So see invisibility states it's an action to cast. It is range of self, target of self, so obviously you will be the only one who can see the invisible being. A duration is an hour, and this does not require concentration. So it's just your eyes are ensorcelled, and there you go. It says for the duration, so for an hour, you see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible, and you can see into the ethereal plane. So that's like where spiritual beings may sort of rest on the border of the material there. And then ethereal creatures and objects appear ghostly and translucent. So should you wish, you could definitely activate that ability.
Yeah. I'm popping.
Okay. All right. So, Musadi, can you give me a little descriptor of what it looks like when you activate the invisibility? Is there any sort of like visual administer of that?
Okay. So yeah, Musadi uses see invisibility, and I want almost like script to just glow around his eyes. We'll just script right around his eyes, so then I can see. Almost like cursing. Yeah.
Like across the actual eye itself.
So right, like underneath and above.
Oh, nice!
script.
Like markings.
Exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. Yes, in a sort of, you see these sort of scintillating cursive patterns of a language that. Do you have any special language proficiencies, or just in common?
I have common and tabaxi, so let's just do tabaxi.
Tabaxi, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. You'll have this sort of flowing tabaxi script emblazoned across your eyes as suddenly there's a flash, and you can perceive beyond what a normal mortal could. Musadi, so a couple things actually trigger when your eyes alight. The first thing that you notice is, yes, you can see the tail end of what appears to be a pair of boots, running down the hallway and trying to turn a corner. From what you can see, the body of the form is, wearing the same uniform of the Forsaken. From behind, there's not a lot of defining features yet. They're hooded, right? But you definitely see a Forsaken person who is running away from you, right? That's headed down the hallway from where you entered. However, we'll just say you're right for the sake of me describing the scene. In the stone wall, in which is sort of where the barracks, a lot of the sort of stacked bedding is pressed up against the wall. In between one of the spaces between those like bunk bed situations, you can see the faint outline of a door, which is hidden behind an illusory veil in the rock wall itself.
Okay, so the person is running, but then I also notice a door.
Correct.
Okay. There's a lot of pressure.
Uh,
If I just use see invisibility, am I also then allowed to use charm person?
Well, it depends on. So, we're gonna probably handle the chase if you decide to go into the chase, right? As a skill challenge, right? Mm-hmm. So I will say that because you have see invisibility for this moment, this will be your first action in that challenge. So if you want to cast Charm Person, you can. That will just mean that you're sort of committing to apprehending the Forsaken versus, giving up the chase to explore this door. So it depends on which path you're going to kind of walk down.
Okay.
Or run down in this instance.
I'll just tell the group I can see him.
Well, let's go then. And Yoan's gonna we gotta catch him.
Okay. All right, so then, we're going after the person then.
Okay.
We're chasing.
All right, so the party breaks off into a sprint. As I mentioned before, you can hear the clattering of the boots against the stone. However, it is only Musa D who makes any sense of the actual figure producing those sounds. So we're going to treat this like a skill challenge, as I mentioned. Now, Musa D, you are actually going to benefit in that your skill DCs are going to be lower than everyone else's, seeing as you can actually perceive the target and the others are less inclined to do that. So let me make a quick check. Here we have 4, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Quick question.
Yes.
When someone is invisible, do they still cast shadows?
That is an excellent question. I don't know the, Garrett has a face on that might assume he knows the answer. My knee-jerk reaction is no.
This is the fun thing about invisibility is that semi-recently, within the past year, the ruling was made kind of popular that from the tippity top, if you consider Jeremy Crawford that anymore.
The tippity top.
If you're invisible, people can still tell where you are from your footsteps, tracks. Presumably there'd be some funky little light and shadow nonsense. So they get disadvantaged to attack you, but people can still tell where you are if you go strictly by the rules. So there's no definite they cast shadow or they don't cast shadow, but that could be sort of woven into that if that's our DM's invisibility ruling.
I would say, in my mind, invisibility spell is warping of light, right? The ability to perceive is the warping of light. So I would assume that also probably extends to shadow. In my humble opinion, but I definitely do think that sound or anything produced from the creature would definitely still be discernible.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so Musa D, since you had the sort of first announcement of an action that you wanted to take, which was Charm Person, I will allow you to sort of take point on the skill challenge. Oh, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put on slightly more dramatic music since we're in a chase now. might as well have something a little bit more daring. All right, so Musa D, your eyes now alight with sight beyond sight, as some 80s cartoons would tell us. You're watching as the tattered robes of a Forsaken agent is fleeing down the stone corridor ahead of you, and now you wish to cast a spell. So tell me what happens.
For Charm Person?
Yes.
Okay, so Musa D is going to use Charm Person, and this is going to be this sultry, sexy voice, and just slow down. And I'm going to pass it in their direction.
Excellent. All right, and so that requires a spell save DC, if I am not mistaken.
I will also say, too, again, because Musa D doesn't like the cavern and dark, I need somebody close to me during this, too, though. I'm not just going to sprint off into the dark. So either Nadara, Yoan, Ray, someone nearby, because I'm not just going to sprint straight into the dark.
Well, there is Percy and Percy. Let's not forget that Percival and Theor are with you as well. So those are also two NPCs you could cling to. Although last time you spoke to Percy, there was a bit of a cold shoulder there.
And it's not clinging. It's not. I didn't say clinging.
Let's be clear.
Just make sure they focus.
Okay. So, what's your spell save DC?
Spell save DC. Where do I find that?
That should be on the top of your spell page. It should be. If it's not, we can calculate it rather quickly.
Yeah, we only have the front page here.
Okay. It should be 8 plus your proficiency plus your charisma modifier.
Okay, so that's +3, and proficiency is 2, and charisma is +3.
8, 2, and 3, so 13?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me do a little... All right, Musa D, you reach forward as a sultry, sexy voice echoes out throughout the cavern. Hey, slow down. In their ears. And you can see as the figure is booking it down the hallway, you can hear like the tunk of their feet on the stones. There's sort of a moment where their posture stiffens, as if like, you know, a sound has suddenly enraptured their senses. But as they falter a little bit in their step, they shake their head, and they keep running. Unfortunately, they have pressed past your influence as they continue to run down the hall. So, Musadi, that was your first action in the skill challenge. Who next? Who else wants to help?
Can Yoan try to use Arcana to look for some of the telltale fluctuations of invisibility in the air?
Ooh, I love that. Yes, you can give me an Arcana check.
That's pretty cool.
Oh shit, yeah, 23.
Oh!
Loki. Oh, Loki, wonderful to have you in chat. It's been a little bit. Says,
Hi,
is it
Loki.
reflecting light or is it camouflage? I think that would be the deciding factor. That's a good question. I don't know enough about the metaphysics of magic, but I'd like to imagine that it is reflecting light. Whatever one makes my my calling make sense, we'll say. But yes, Yoan, there is. Well, you can let me know how you detect these fluctuations as you decided, as you put it.
I would say it's not even so much like holding up a wand and like waving sigils or anything. It's literally just like I've very closely studied invisibility. Like I've closely studied the invisibility spell. Academically, I kind of know what to look for, and like this is a textbook case. There's little shimmers in the air that shouldn't be there. It's like looking for what's that thing when people doctor their pictures so they look skinnier?
Oh, like Photoshop, like you're looking for like the warps in like a Photoshop.
Yeah, like there's like a little warp in the cave wall that shouldn't be there. It's like, oh no, that's where he is.
Hilarious. Okay, yes, Yoan, you're trained.
Facetune.
Yeah, Facetune. There's that too. Speaking of textbook, because you are in hot pursuit of this bandit, you turn the corner and you are now facing the open passageway to the library, which you were just in moments ago. And as you are straining your eyes, listening very intently for the sounds of these boots upon the stones, you do happen to see, as you put it, the telltale signs, the warbling of the air, almost like when you're looking at heat on like a hot pavement, how like the air just kind of slightly shifts before your vision. You can see the faintest traces of a figure moving amidst what you would normally be able to perceive. That is a success on the skill challenge. As you gain a little bit more ground on your... Loki says, Yoan knows his shit. Absolutely does. All right, so that was Yoan's contribution. Anybody else have an idea immediately as they are rushing?
I'm thinking... Well, first, I'm gonna ask Mr. Yoan, can someone point him out, or his general area?
Can I move dancing lights closer to the area?
Ooh, okay, interesting. Yes, because you can perceive the creature, you could move dancing lights closer to the fleeing Forsaken. It still may not give full effect because the creature is still not visible to you, but it definitely can help in terms of like where this thing is currently positioned, depending on the effect you're trying to do. Yes.
Okay, yes, I would, if possible, I would move the dancing lights and just tell it to follow her, and I'll let the dancing lights get as close as I can to the invisible dude.
And with a spectral pirouette, the beautiful figure of the luminous lady begins to gain ground on the Forsaken. The Forsaken, you can see turning the hooded head behind their shoulder, so sort of like confused as you just see this like a being made entirely of energy and light sort of coming up on their heels. But yes.
Okay, so then I want Nadara to like load her crossbow like slightly more noisy than she normally would, so he can like hear that I'm knocking a crossbow. And I want her to yell out, "One of us can see you, and he's a lot more kind than me. If you don't stop, I will shoot you." And so I'm trying to do an intimidation.
Yeah, about to say that sounds like an intimidate to me. I don't know if you can hear me preparing your imminent demise, but I'm in the process of doing that. Yes.
Let's see. What I have here. Oh, okay. Not that bad. Let's see. Can you use the points of inspiration on these checks?
Yeah, absolutely you can.
Beautiful. I'm gonna do that one time.
Get that too, player.
Yeah. Oh, so much better. That's gonna be a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. We love to see it. All right, Natara, you rattle and shake and pop the bolt into place as you levy your threat into the air. And now, like, one shoulder, overlooking this, like, spectral lady who is now gaining on them, and now hearing your threat, they look over their other shoulder, and you can see behind, like, their mask, there are, like, cool beads of sweat beginning to form in their hood as they are suddenly beginning to ponder their own mortality, considering the fact you've already carved through a swath of their fellows. You have not fully succeeded yet, but you are pretty dang close. What else do we got? We got a smirk on Gray over there.
Throw your shillelagh. Throw your shillelagh right at his head.
No. Oh, you're on mute.
I think she's saying she can't get off of me.
Oh,
She
okay.
can't unmute right now.
Gotcha.
Video Ninja's being weird for her.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can take a suggestion from anyone else while Lauren is.
Or the shillelagh. Just throw it.
Oh, wait, great. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Here we go.
Okay, I might need to refresh this because it's lagging like crazy for me. Okay, so here's the deal. Deep down, Gray has been way more curious about this door this whole time. But seeing how desperate all my newfound friends are to stop this guy, Brian, quick question about cantrips. Are we doing it to where we can kind of just pick if we have the slots, just pick what we want, or do you want us to stick with spells that we picked from the beginning?
I think for druids they are selected and kept. You will have the opportunity to retrain them at a later date if you don't love the ones that you picked as you level up. But yes, the ones that you have initially will be.
All right. Then I will also try, I guess, an intimidation check.
Okay.
Gray's gonna pretend to be angry for the first. Gray's gonna be so frustrated that she can't focus on the door that she's just gonna growl and go, "Stop!"
All right. Give me that intimidate check.
Oh, it's not gonna be good. It's gonna be a 8.
Ooh.
Wait, I've got inspiration.
Okay.
I gotta try one more time.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my god, it's gonna be a 12.
12. The cold sweat still on the Forsaken's brow. Here's the bellowing grunt of Gray, still like in the other room because she's been staring so longingly at that door. Stop! And this seems to have the adverse effect in that now they are so afraid for their lives that they are just high-kneeing it, just sprinting as hard as they can. As you see them begin to turn the corner out of the the library, and begin to head into the central chamber where Creep's little lake and his little hideout is. So now you're still in pursuit, but you are losing footing on the Forsaken. So now I can take a suggestion from anybody here, since everyone's already acted once.
Man, I almost just want to let a crossbow bolt fly like a warning shot, but anyone have better ideas for accident?
I have a better idea. Can I get within 15 feet of this fleeing so-and-so?
You can get within 15 feet of the dancing light, I assume, which is close enough to the assailant that you'd probably be able to surmise that. Yeah.
Because I'd like to just shoot a burning hands.
So not.
Okay.
Well, they're enemies, right? They're not friends. We're not like trying to convince them to like. We're trying to.
I mean, it's a Forsaken.
It's so far. All right, so.
Oh no.
All right, hold on. I'll okay. Yeah, I'll pivot.
No, I will say you can totally do it. The only thing that I would ask of you if you want a burning hands is like because they're still ahead of you and you're running after them, I would probably just ask for an athletics check to see if you can close the gap far enough that you can burning hands.
I'm gonna say that Yoan takes his wand out and he's like, "All right, we'll do this the hard way," and a little bit of fire whips at the end of it. Musa D says something that's like, "Whoa, don't." We're not gonna kill him. Like, well, if you don't slow down and stop, friend, I'm going to have to. Why don't we just slow down so we can talk about this like Musadi wants us to? Can I throw a persuasion check?
Hilarious. Yes, I will say sure. Why not?
I'm gonna burn inspo on this too. 18.
Hey, that's great.
As you reveal your wand and there's a flicker of firelight at its tip, and you and Musa D have this conversation about the sparing of the life of the Forsaken. Musa D, you see the Forsaken turn around, and you can see that the pacing begins to slow up a bit as if they are considering their options, but they are not fully convinced as they continue to make their way towards the T intersection, the big junction that you guys had originally entered when you first found the cave. So I can give you this information as your dungeon master. You are one check away from success or failure at this juncture right now. It looks like you've broken their confidence, but they are not completely convinced. But they are slowing up their pace.
I'm just looking at my skills.
Bear in mind, you can also choose to use like a class feature or a magic item or you can use whatever you want, but I might convert it into like a skill check to make this a little bit easier considering the constraints of the situation. But do not feel all the way, relegated to only your skills.
Let me see, what can I do?
Percy's behind you, just like huffing and puffing. Wait, just a moment. I'm right behind you. And you can just hear like the heavy armor of Theor clunk, 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 right behind you with like a hand on his sword. Stop, villain.
Okay, y'all. So what we doing?
That was all stumped.
Yoan already went twice. It's gotta be someone else.
Okay, so then y'all gonna leave it to Musa D? Because I don't want to kill him. That's what my we killed all his friends just earlier, right? Like we killed.
Well, yes.
You've murdered at least half a dozen Forsaken so
It
far.
was us or them.
Yeah, that's true.
So y'all gonna leave
Although
it to
one did run away from you.
Yeah. Oh. If it's up to me, I'm shooting a crossbow bolt.
While you guys kill him, I think I have to refresh. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Okay.
Um,
And I'm gonna try to aim for like the leg area if I
Okay,
can.
a non-lethal shot.
Right,
Okay.
I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just trying to trip him up.
Okay, so
if
if
no one has any objections.
okay, so if we shoot him and then the assumption he falls, right? We
Yeah.
shoot him. But if we miss, he gonna break out and just keep running.
1000%. But do you have any better ideas?
I mean, I have high charisma. I can try to persuade. Like I have a, what I got? I got a plus
What I
5.
got.
Please then. Please.
Persuade.
I will say, Nadara, of course, can take the shot, but because the creature is invisible, she will suffer disadvantage
Right.
on trying to hit.
Right. So okay, I'm gonna try to persuade them to slow it down.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this: slow your ass down. They will kill you. They will kill you.
I don't know if you heard, she was knocking a crossbow bolt before.
They will kill you. Slow down. Stop.
Okay.
That's my shot.
Give me that persuasion check.
Okay.
Can I aid in this just by also agreeing and be like, oh, I will absolutely kill you? Like,
You haven't aided yet in the skill challenge yet, correct?
I've only done my one check in the beginning. Which
Okay,
was
so then yeah, you can grant an aid to Musadi.
Which means that
you'll roll with advantage.
Okay.
Loki, always going for violence, says aim for the hamstrings, doesn't have to walk anyway.
Exactly.
Okay, so I rolled a 16 plus 5. That's 21.
Woo! All right, so Musadi, can you tell me exactly what you say to the fleeing Forsaken?
Exactly what I just said. Wolf, slow your ass down. They're gonna kill you. I'll make that clear. Yeah.
All right, so you see the Forsaken running down this hallway. There's the T intersection, right? There's the T intersection that leads back towards the cave entrance where you climb down, that's overlooking the rapids, right? And then there is the T intersection which leads to the requisitions hall, which Yoan had blown up with a makeshift alchemist fire maybe an hour ago. As the Forsaken wheels around, they're actually surprisingly turning into the corner of the requisitions hall, but with a combination of suddenly being faced with a wall of like acrid chemical smoke from the cauldron explosion and hearing Musadi's plea from behind them, you can see they run into the smoke. There's like a all right, I'll stop, just don't shoot. And you can see, like, they're kind of like half covered in smoke, but their hands are up and their back is to you. They're beginning to slowly turn.
Okay, so the back is to us. Right? You said the back is to us?
But they're slowing down.
And again, I'm the only person I can see him.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. With that, I'm just gonna just walk straight up. And I'm just gonna smack him in the face. Just say, stop running. Stop running. That's it. Okay? It's like I'm breathing heavy, I'm tired, walk right up, smack him right in the face, stop running, right? Then I was able to smack him so they know the distance, right? It's a trick, it's a ploy, right? I'm close. Okay? But everybody knows exactly where I am.
Exactly where they are.
And you told me smack, okay?
Okay.
And yeah.
Musadi, you walk up, and then there's just, you hear the echo throughout the cavern. It is so sharp and it is so loud that you literally slap the invisibility off of their body, and it just like breaks their concentration on it, boom, as the spell is extinguished. Loki says Musadi doing that Paragon interrupt. A nice Mass Effect reference there. Musadi, as the Forsaken, I keep forgetting the words to call them, sort of recoils from your strike and like looks back up to you. You are met with, so like the hood is kind of askance because you hit them and they were running and their mask is falling down. But you clearly see what appears to be a purple-fleshed tiefling woman.
Oh no!
Okay.
Oh no!
I wrote this character before you said you were gonna run up and smack her. Yeah, no, I just.
Okay, fine.
what was it was what was to be. Well, they had a hood on, you couldn't see. A purple-skinned tiefling woman, which, as she staggers back on her feet as she takes a look up into you, she has a piercing set of green eyes. Her horns, which are like a jet black, lay back and tight on her skull, and she has her brown hair tied in a very sort of tight and very particular knot. And she sort of like staggers back for a moment and takes a look up at you and like holds a hand up. I'm done running. I yield.
Okay. Kimani feels bad about smacking a woman.
I'll give you a point of inspiration for having a heart. I will give you, Kimani, a point of inspiration which you can translate into Musadi.
I have to ask though.
Okay.
Is she beautiful?
I'm gonna leave it up to a D20. That's what we'll say.
Oh
Yeah, she's fine.
Okay. Again, y'all, I wasn't here last session. We killed some of their compatriots. They ran off. They didn't have anything. They just broke out and ran. Correct?
Correct. The ones who you were in pursuit of the artifact that they stole, right? But there was sort of a holding force of them that ambushed you in the wilderness, sort of expecting that you would come looking, right? You fought your way through, I think, about 4 or 5 of them, but the last remaining figure, the last Forsaken, ran away, managed to escape, and then they're the one who sort of swan dived off the top of the cliff and disappeared, which then led you to discover that there was a cavern underneath the cliffside in the first place.
Okay. After realizing that the person was a woman, Musadi's gonna go, thank you for stopping. Young Nadara, come introduce yourselves, please.
Oh.
I think you just introduced us. Yoan, Nadara.
Nadara's gonna put her crossbow back and pull out both daggers and walk up to this woman and goes, "Why are you running? Why are you invisible? And why did we have to chase you?"
You can see that the woman, as Nadara approaches with daggers drawn, sort of like slowly puts her hands by her side and grabs sort of like one of the drooping folds of like her shawl, right? And then peels it back to reveal that it looks like there's already a bandaged wound on her side. And she says, "Let's just say I've already crossed blades with you once, and I learned my lesson the first time."
Oh. Up there?
Unfortunately, yes.
Where's our box? Why do you want it?
Your box, as you call it, is in the possession of Jacqueline. She is the head of our little cell here in Riverholm. It's deeper into the complex.
Where all the chanting is going on, I should imagine.
Near it. You assume correctly.
Jacqueline will fight us for this box.
Most certainly. She is very adamant about figuring out exactly what it is and how she can leverage it.
So she doesn't know.
And at this point, Percy and Theor have joined you from the other hallway. "Avast, ye villains! Beware the great valiant of..." And you can see, like, Theor just, like, puts his hand on Percy's shoulder. "It's all right, lad, she's already stopped." And sort of, like, waltzes forward as you're beginning to talk more about the box, catching their earshot. "No, I don't imagine she does. We gave it a preliminary, cursory glance whenever we captured it, but the spells and wards which are placed upon it are very, very powerful. It will take some time to undo."
Mm-hmm. Why take it at all, then?
die. We are the Forsaken. It is our plight to understand magic now that we are beyond the reach of the Magisterium, to pursue it on our own aims. If such a great relic is free and loose here, who would it better be in the hands of? The tyrannical Magisterium to lord over all? Or for the people, for us to understand, for us to study?
So you would choose to die over an artifact that you have no idea what it is?
We would choose knowledge over ignorance, and we would choose our freedoms over the subjugations of the Magisterium.
Well,
Awful lot of skulking for someone so self-righteous.
And to that, she kind of like looks Yoan up and down, seeing like the very fanciful wizard robes and like this, and spying the ring, the signet ring on the finger, and just sort of like sneers. You have high-born Magisterium rat written all over you. I don't need to explain myself.
Well, then I suppose we don't either. Anyone have some rope?
I actually do, and I'm gonna toss Yoan some rope.
Now, we can't hurt you because, and he gestures to Musadi. We promise. But we can't have you running up and mucking things up. So if you would just stay very still for us, we're just going to truss you up, and either we'll leave someone up there alive, hopefully multiple people, and again he says that to Musadi, and someone will be back, if not them, then us, to untie you before we go.
Okay. What's your name?
My chosen name is Devotion.
Devotion. Well, Devotion. And I'm also going to gesture back to Musadi and go, I did not promise to not hurt you. And I want to know about Jacqueline. What are her weaknesses? What are her strengths? Tell us what can help us.
And to this, she seems to... There's a bit of a guard to her. Can the party give me... I'll give you your choice of either a deception, a deception, a persuasion, or a intimidate check. And I just want to see how pliable she'll be to questioning between the three of you, without any greater resistance.
14.
14.
Can I use my...
21.
21.
Nice.
I rolled
Oh,
a 5.
persuasion for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, mine... I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry, Kimani.
Go ahead, Emma, go ahead.
I'm going to do straight up intimidation, and I have the same modifier in all three of those, so...
Okay.
21 for whichever.
I rolled a 5, but can I use my bonus feat lucky to roll one more time for...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
11.
11. Okay, so not so lucky with the lucky, but yes, between the party, we'll say that you are smooth talking and conniving and fearsome enough that you can easily ply, we'll say, about 3 questions like from Devotion without having to like further antagonize her, which may have ill or odd effect. But for now, you have enough leeway with her that she's willing to barter, 3 questions. So, you still want to learn more about Jacqueline? Is that sort of like the first line of questioning we're going with here?
Can we also talk to each other before we ask questions?
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure.
So, can I just really quickly? Devotion probably knows this cave better than us, right? And so, like, assuming that there's traps and there's pit holes and etc., it's probably good that we ask or have Devotion even with us so we can avoid those moving forward.
Oh, I agreed to take her with us, and have her point out traps and stuff.
Right. Or just things that, like, wait, like that last move, and we went in, there was nothing in it, we came out and we blew up the damn door, right? Like, maybe having Devotion around, we can avoid situations where we're just walking in fucking circles.
We also have to trust that she's telling us the truth.
Because
we only technically have 3, right? Would multiple traps count as 1, or?
Well, Yoan sort of come here. You stay there. Huddles up with Nadara and Musadi.
Not that I have much of a choice, Devotion says.
That is true.
We can just bind her arms and legs a little bit, have her walk in front of us. If there's any traps, she'll set them off unless she tells us about them.
Yep. I like
Probably
that.
also need to, gag her a little just so that she doesn't yell, "Hey, here comes conquering heroes."
I like that. So that means
Then we won't have to
use
ask,
that.
we'll get other information.
I still very much want to know about Jacqueline's weaknesses.
Oh, very much, of course.
Everything else?
Yoan steps aside. All yours, Nadara.
Tell us about Jacqueline. We're clearly gonna have to fight her, so what are her weaknesses?
Jacqueline is a dedicated practitioner of the magic arts. In particular, she is very skillful in the art of divination. Very likely she's already seen you coming and made preparations. She is never without a plan, and a plan to protect the first plan, and a tertiary plan to ensure the first two do not fail.
Divination.
She is also of dwarven blood, which means that poisons, as she casts a glance over at Nadara in particular, will be ineffective against her to some degree.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Actually, let me think about this. Devotion, would Jackie leave you to die?
Ooh. To this, you can see the question kind of strikes her as one she wouldn't expect. And then there's a moment where she shakes her head. No, Jacqueline has created a safe place for us here, away from the prying eyes of the Magisterium and the Watchful Order. We are safe here, and any loss of life is due to the mission, not due to Jacqueline. She understands that we are valuable.
Sounds like brainwashing to me.
Sounds like you're expendable.
We chose to follow Jacqueline because she believes in our independence, not because she would use us. That is a horrid accusation to make.
Well, we don't like her very much. She took our stuff.
It belongs to the people, Nadara. Aren't we people, by the way?
Loki says, smells culty when talking about
Okay.
I'm just...
Is that one so far for meta purposes?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jacqueline is a dwarf and a divination specialist.
Which is divination is the binding what? Like, is that holy stuff? Is that holy magic?
It's like perception magic. It's like seeing beyond, things like clairvoyance, things like fortune telling, things like, being able to see the threads of fate or enhance one's senses.
So she can see it's coming?
Basically.
That's what she said.
Off the top of Yoan's head, would he know about the invisible sensor involved in the one of those divination spells?
Oh,
Clairvoyance, clairaudience, I want to say.
That's a wizard spell, right?
I think it is, yeah. The Xanathar's rule, I'd have to roll like a 16 with advantage.
Yeah, I would say if Yoan rolls it, that.
He got it, 19.
19.
Yoan has a little brain spark and nudges Musadi. Do you see any other odd little floating, strange, invisible things? Just while you've got the,
Of course. Musadi looks around seriously. Do I see anything, Wolf?
Musadi, you are sort of peering your eyes back and forth, mostly this cavern ahead of you, right, which has been filled up with chemical smoke. It's slowly starting to die down, but it was sort of blackening your vision from the front, right? But in all the hustle and the bustle and the running and the churning after this tiefling devotion, you all were not paying so much a close attention to your backs. And as you turn around behind Percy and Theor, who have just crossed, paths around the corner to greet you, there is sort of this faint grayish blue, not too dissimilar to the runic glows on the ground, that's been lighting the path. There is a similar bluish gray light, which is levitating in the air, just a few feet, almost like eye level with a mortal of standard height, that is levitating. It turns around the corner to where the party is standing, and you can see it's like this orb-like shape with a sort of singular glowing iris in the center, which is watching silently and lording over the group.
So I relay that to Yoan and Nadara and Gray in the group. There's an eyeball floating in front of me.
That's a clairvoyance spell. Where did you say it was? Right? Yeah. Okay. Everyone, wave hello. Wave hello to Jacqueline. Hello.
Why, hello.
You can see it.
Devotion struggles against her restraints to wave, but cannot lift herself.
Visible sensor. Seeing or hearing. You said there's an eye on it?
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, then she can see us, but she can't hear us. What a shame.
Okay. So we know that Jacqueline knows that we're here. And she knows that we have devotion. I guess I can't help but say the devotion. I guess we'll find out if you're expendable or not.
Devotion casts a glowering glance at you. I am sure that Jacqueline will do everything in her power to preserve me, as she does everyone who she has taken under her wing here.
So
I think we
if
better
I
be
put
quick
this
about these other two
go ahead.
questions.
Yes. Okay, so Dwarven, no poison. Donation. Who else is in the room with Jacqueline? Might be another question. What else are we fighting? How many? Maybe there.
Oh, who's left? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see she sort of looks towards the ceiling for a moment as if mentally calculating their numbers for a moment. Well, the cells rotate. There are a few other drop points in Riverholm aside from this one, although this is where we congregate. At any time, we maybe hold a dozen, but you have already made your way through at least 5 of us. I remain. I believe there are a few more who keep a close and watchful eye over Jacqueline herself, maybe 3 or 4, and then Jacqueline proper.
So we have numbers. We have.
Whoa! Thank you, Big Farmer, for your follow. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
So I
making that
guess-
guitar sing.
Do we go back to the door, or do we take devotion and we go push forward Jackie? That's my question to the group. Because we don't know what was behind that door in the first place, no?
Is the door back where Devotion ran from, or where Devotion was running to?
Ran from.
So we'll be spending more time, which will give them more time to prepare. But I know Gray
Yeah.
wanted to see the door.
Yeah. I feel like if we go back, like, she's already watching us.
Right.
I feel like we have limited time.
And we could do what we need to do. And as long as the damn cavern doesn't collapse, we can pretend to go back to the door at the end of this.
Exactly. Okay. So our last question. Do you want to ask more about fighting Jacqueline? See what attacks she might throw at us, see what might be up her sleeve. Do we want to ask about maybe getting into the room? Would we want to...
Again, what we know so far is that for sure, that damn box with Jackie, like for sure. So it's not like away, it's with Jackie, correct?
Yeah, 1000%.
So we know where the box is, but I just say, I say we start heading toward Jackie and just bring devotion along with us.
Well, we have one more question, right? Before we...
Correct, yes.
But I agree with you that... I agree that we should head there as soon as possible. What else do we want to know?
I guess we can ask about the traps, right? Like, I don't think we got a concrete answer, like, are there future traps in
On the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Any surprises waiting between here and Jacqueline or beyond?
And to this, give me an insight check. I'll let the party do this.
Oh.
Nat 20.
Oh, we have Gray. Gray's joined us again. Hello, Gray.
Welcome back.
So sorry.
No, you're fine. Let me see if I can, and just in case your camera doesn't copy into the right place, let me see if I can fix you. So, Yoan, you can definitely tell that there is some resistance in her wanting to answer truthfully, right? But she spies you watching like a hawk, and you can already begin to read in her face that she is hesitating. And in that exchange, she surmises it's probably best to just offer full truth as opposed to getting herself into more trouble. And she says, well, that largely depends on the route you take.
Right. Okay.
There is...
You don't say.
There is the barrier, which I'm sure you've seen by now. It is being erected by what I imagine to be the remnants of Jacqueline's guard. They will be defending her private chambers. It will require some level of ensorcelment to break through, and even beyond then, you have the Guardians to contend with. Others, like me, trained in similar magics, but beyond that gate, there are a few other elements they've put into their advantage. The floor is warded to prevent those from crossing easily, and the platform in which they inhabit is enchanted in such a way to make their spellworks even more devastating. If Jacqueline knows that you have come, they are already waiting for you there and preparing such an attack. Oh. But there is another way, albeit perhaps not quite less dangerous. There are a few doors, secret doors, that are hidden within the walls of our complex.
The walls that Gray want to see. Yeah.
All of them lead to a central, for lack of a better word, hall, where we take all of our coinage, our pilfered goods that are not directly under Jacqueline's watchful eye. They're brought there for safekeeping. However, Jacqueline has also managed to coerce a creature into guarding these various treasures. If you step there, I imagine it will be waiting for trespassers.
We're not talking about creep, are we?
It's not a Nothic by chance.
And then to this devotion, looks at Yoan and Nadara mentioning creep and the Nothic, and she sort of like groans, ugh, that wretched creature. No, useless. Where is he now? Couldn't even prevent me from being captured.
No, he couldn't. Of course, you don't let him in this wing, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we certainly can't have him rifling through all of our books and our scrolls, tearing through our magics and our writings that we have found and kept safe.
What a shame that would be.
Sounds very valuable.
You say there's a number of these doors?
There are 3, in fact. One in our
Is there
barracks, one in the central hall, and one attached to Jacqueline's chamber. She uses it for quick escapes, if necessary.
So in the room that we just came from, was there one in there?
Yes, I imagine that if you were able to spy me, as she narrows her eyes at Musaddi with the magic writing across his eyes, then you were also able to perceive one of the doors that leads to this chamber.
Come here again. And Yoan's gonna grab Nadara and Musaddi, and now that Gray's paying attention again. Gray.
Yeah, Gray is just now getting back from the door. Gray was so obsessed with this door. To catch you up to speed,
they're gonna
Gray,
come back.
they did manage to catch the Forsaken runner, who you found out is a tiefling woman by the name of Devotion, and you've sort of been grilling her for information about the complex and Jacqueline and various goings-on for the Forsaken cell here.
So it was a chick? It was a chick that was invisible?
Which
Musaddi
Musaddi?
hit.
Musaddi slapped the shit out of her, so...
I did not know. I did not.
I'm not judging. You had to stop a bitch.
Oh no! This is not.
But all of that is beside the point.
Yes.
It would be rather a shame if Creep were to go rifling through their precious books. Supposing he were to go through one secret door, through the central chamber where all the treasure is, and then maybe go through the other secret door that gets him around the wards and into the library. Wouldn't that be a shame? Wouldn't that just piss Jacqueline off a little bit, don't you think?
I think so. I think she'd be so mad.
Think it might get her off that platform.
Well?
Oh, and Yoan just turns back. You were saying about this creature, though. Not a Nothic.
Loki, by the way, says, to clarify, Devotion was not just a chick, but a fine chick, quote unquote. I rolled an 18 on a d20. That's a lot of hotness on a d20.
Yeah.
This creature, yes, that is not Creep. Yes, Jacqueline has managed to ensnare a most fitting creature to guard a pile of treasure, a mimic. As long as she keeps it well fed and bark, it's dinner time, then it normally keeps her and us safe. Otherwise, it lies in wait, disguised as some trunk or crate, waiting for its next meal.
Okay.
So, Devotion, you wouldn't be able to point out the mimic though if you saw it.
Unfortunately, no, not without magic. The mimic's disguises are near perfect.
Do you have the magic to be able to see it?
No. We only are... Our only safety afforded to us from the mimic is if we come with a suitable offering of food to keep it satiated, and let it know that it is time to eat.
So what does it like to eat?
And she cuts you a glance. You can imagine what it likes to eat. It isn't always a pretty sight.
Okay.
Does it like purple tieflings?
And you can see her
you slapped her.
We're going from slap her to actively feed her.
I did nothing else to her.
You can see there's a shiver that goes down her spine as her posture sort of stiffens for a moment. I imagine that it would eat a purple tiefling just as quickly as any other source of meat.
Understood.
Right, like the bodies that we left behind.
I was going to say the bodies that we left behind, yes.
Right. Now, I cut a glance at Nadara because what the fuck?
What the fuck? We've been killing people like her this entire time.
Right, but she's been compliant, right? She's been compliant.
So we're gonna let her go after this.
Right, but then what makes us any different from them? They were just wanton killing everybody in the capital. What makes us better than any bandit?
It's not wanton. They stole from us. She was up there. We already fought her. This is just second time.
And they were trying to kill us.
Kill us.
First.
Exactly.
Justify it any way that you like, she says as she just sort of like glowers behind her restraints.
Thank you, I will.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, shall we be quick about it? I figure we grab a body, go get Creep, head through the central hall door, and see what we can do about that mimic.
Loki says, "Murder, schmurder." You know, the party is doing. You know what? I will say that I am proud of you that you have not entirely given into the murder hobo impulse that drives most D&D parties. Look at you weighing the actions that you're taking.
Thank you. Listen, I feel like we're playing a really good game of bad cop, good cop right now.
And so, and you're recommending that we let Creep loose to do his thing, which will pull Jacqueline off her stool.
Well, ideally, we would set him loose in the library. Maybe might want to stay in the treasury instead, but either way, if Jacqueline's watching us, I can't imagine she's going to be very happy with either.
Right.
Oh my god, this cat.
Oh, cat time. Cat on stream.
Boy.
He wants my shrimp.
Okay. So then we're doing this. Then we're going back. We're getting the bodies.
And Creep. Wait, but also, she's watching us right now.
Yeah.
So,
correct.
How much of this plan do we think she can decipher just by watching us?
Yolan is saying that she can't hear us.
Well, presumably, we'll find out. But in any case, if she doesn't come get us, we'll have the free run of the treasury and the library until she decides to. So
I'll say this much, because if I'm not mistaken, there's clairvoyance, correct? Oh,
yeah.
What did I do? I just hit a button. Everything looks right? Nothing's broken.
Concentration for 10 minutes. Either seeing or hearing. Oh, you can switch between seeing and hearing.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. So, I can tell you this much, Musadi, since you're the only one who can perceive the symbol, or I should say the sensor. You can see at various points of your conversation, the eye, the iris-like glow has shifted into another symbol, which you can presume is like a different mode set on the clairvoyance orb. But of course, it has to choose when it shifts, right? So it has gone in and out of a few different things to watch and hear and watch and hear. So depending on what was turned on and when, there's a good chance that, Jacqueline has gained some knowledge of what was spoken, but as to what exactly, remains to be seen.
Right. Well, we can just put the cards on the table if we'd prefer, but, that way we know she knows.
And it's almost, I'm assuming we want her to see Creep go through the door, which would then potentially pull it.
Oh, very much so.
Okay. Yeah, so let's get moving then, yeah? Let's do it.
Who's bringing the body?
I'll walk with devotion.
Well, the real question is, how are you going to get the bodies? Because they are outside of the cavern. They are on top of the cliffside.
Oh, there's no bodies down here, are there?
Correct.
Oh.
I misremembered. Because we've only fought books.
we've only killed books down here.
Did I just hear that we only have no bodies?
we have exactly no bodies currently.
Except for a purple tiefling.
Now show any message. Firebolt.
Or we can fight a mimic.
Musadi, you want to fight a mimic in these deep, dark caves.
How thick do you think the ceiling is above us?
You're pretty far down into the cliffside. So
Just where we left the bodies, because you said they're above us, right?
correct.
So within this cavern, like from one floor to the next.
I mean, I think we said that it was like I'm having a hard time remembering a couple sessions back, but I think we said it was anywhere from like a 20 to 30 foot drop down initially to get off of the top of the cliff to the ledge where the cavern opening was.
Oh, that's where the bodies are.
Yeah,
Up
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm following your lead. Outside of just feeding devotion to a fucking mimic. And don't get silent, everybody, when I say that. We're not feeding.
I'm thinking, Musa D. My God.
I'm not saying the plan is to feed her. I'm just saying we have options.
Percy, you know,
Sorry,
cuts
what
in-
do we want to do with the bodies?
oh yeah, so catching up to speed, Greg, because I know you had to come in and out. So the party has discovered that there is a secret entrance into Jacqueline's chambers that isn't through like a magically warded, barrier that has wizards behind it. There's a secret entrance, which you guys saw, the invisible door, that leads to where they keep all of their treasure and all their stolen goods, but there is a mimic hiding amongst the treasure in there. And so Devotion said, yeah, normally we just throw in some food, we distract it, we can pass without any worries, but unfortunately there are no bodies down here because nothing has been killed in the chambers. So Devotion...
And we believe her.
She's giving you...
with a 20 insight, yeah.
With a 20 insight.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you don't have to shout.
Well, and Yoan looks at Devotion and says, could you, if you didn't get anywhere near the treasure in the chamber, can you just walk right by, or is it anyone who passes gets attacked?
I mean, I imagine if you are swift and silent enough, perhaps you could make it through without being spotted, but...
It's always swift and silent.
I have a quick question. Devotion, where do you get this food you feed the mimics?
And to this, she, nods her head towards above. Well, the surface, of course. There's game to hunt. There are boar. There are deer.
Oh, so you're not just feeding this mimic people?
No, in fact, we are not monsters. We do not commit such heinous acts for no reason.
Right.
I mean,
Nor
it
are we.
wouldn't be unreasonable. But,
The way I see it, we either have to fight the mimic and then Jacqueline and her cronies, but on our terms, or we have to go right to Jacqueline and fight her on her terms. I imagine we'll be using spells and resources either way.
We should take a nap.
We're being watched already, Gray. I think if we take a nap, we're going to be mimic fodder.
yes. I say we go with your plan, Yoan.
We've got to fight a mimic then. We could try sneaking past it anyway.
Right.
Then maybe we have our cake and eat it too.
Right. And maybe everyone will pass.
Let me see real fast.
I like that optimism, Musadi.
What kind of room are we in now?
You are... So, you're not quite in a room. You're in a hallway. You were in the big T-junction that led... One edge led to the cave outcropping where you crawled down, and the other side leads to the requisition hall, which Yoan blew up. Also, Loki says, I agree, naps are the best, especially when they replenish all of your spell slots and half of your hit dice rounded up.
Hey.
We love that.
So the room with the magic door, does it look like, from what we can remember, does it seem like there was maybe any supplies in there? Like any maybe kind of healing potions or anything?
We did scour it, didn't we?
Oh,
well, you rummaged through the requisition hall, which is where which is where you're standing in front of now. You did find some potions and things of that nature, but you did not actually push open the secret door that leads to where the Forsaken are keeping their, like, stolen treasure. So there may be some goods and things in there as well.
Now that you mention it, if we defeat the Mimic, there might be some potions.
Yeah.
If we're lucky.
Gray could maybe use a potion or two before a potential fight, even if we're just sneaksy buys.
I might have one.
You have 3. You're supposed to have 3, right? I have here the Dar has 3 potions of healing.
Yeah, we've used 2 of them. I only have 1 left, but I have 1. I have 1 potion left.
Let's ransack the room, and then if we don't find one, maybe I'll snag that for you before we go through the secret door. That's okay, if the DM will allow.
Okay, folks, so we head back to the Gray's door.
Well, we need to go get... Since there are no bodies, we need to go get Creep. Creep can't go into Gray's door, so we have to go into the door in the central hall. But it'll take us to the same place. Oh, unless you want to check out what's behind the door, but I imagine it's merely a hallway.
Are there any barriers, though, to keep Creep out of these places?
From what you've seen wards on the hallway leading to the library, and you've seen wards leading to the hall that, like, where the barrier has been erected, where the chanting is coming from. But you've seen no other wards thus far.
And Yoan has broken one of the wards when we first got it, no?
Yoan did, yes, through a skill check, did manage to dispel one of the wards, the alarm spell that was laid into the hallway.
Okay.
Not to speak against my own track record, but that may or may not have been a fluke, and I would not love to find out.
Nadar's gonna look at Devotion and go, you said Devotion, you've run into a bunch of your wards. This room with all the treasures that y'all don't want Creep to touch, is there wards there for you?
I believe there is one in place, the one leading to Jacqueline's personal chambers. If the relic is being held there, I imagine she would not want Creep to get his hands on it when she wasn't looking.
Well, we've already talked to Creep about not getting that relic, so hopefully that won't be an issue.
You've already what?
Never you mind, Jacqueline. You'll know soon enough. Or not Jacqueline, Devotion. Shall we to Creep then?
To Creep?
I'm gonna help Devotion up, by the way, as gently and chivalrously as possible.
Nadar is gonna shoot you the craziest side-eye cut.
She, sort of leaned up against the stone wall for her makeshift interrogation in these confined quarters. You approach, you extend your hand, and she sort of somewhat reluctantly, but does, from her binds, reach out in kind and take your hand and then shuffle onto her feet. Thank you for as much as that's worth.
Lips is zip. Less is more. But I'm gonna to Devotion just in case, the little bunny. So I'm gonna
That's a good question. So you are going to Creep, and you have Devotion in tow. Are you taking? What is the sort of plan there?
We don't all need to go to Creep. Just one or two of us to go fetch it.
Oh, the whole split up. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Very briefly, and maybe the strong swimmers.
Okay. So I'm a pirate. So I'll probably.
That's true.
I'll watch Devotion.
Although only one of you can speak Undercommon.
Oh, that's me. So. Okay, guess I'm going. That's fine.
I'll stay with Devotion.
Okay.
Me too. Theor?
Me too.
Okay. You know what? I'll take Percy if you want.
Oh no.
Theor takes a long glance over at Devotion. I imagine that a criminal should be under the eye of the valiants, as sort of like Devotion huffs under her breath in like Theor's direction. To Nadara, offering a Percival a chance to accompany.
She's gonna put out her hand and go, shall we?
He's like his like hand is like trembling underneath his armor. You hear it rattling. Oh, ever we shall. As he like takes your hand. Immediately the glasses fog up.
Beautiful. I'm literally gonna just grab Percy and we're gonna start sprinting towards.
Okay, so it sounds like we have Theor. I'm gonna make a little chart here. So we have with devotion, we have Theor, we have Musadee, and then going to see Creep, we have Nadara, and we have Percival, which leaves just Yoan and Gray unaccounted for.
Yoan's gonna stay with. He's not gonna swim because it goes badly.
Got you.
Yeah, I don't wanna be part of leading Creep to his demise.
I abstain from leading our boy to his death. All right, so then we'll have.
No one's leading Creep to his demise.
Not yet.
Especially given how he almost fucking killed all of them.
Okay. Perfect. So, as the party is moving back into the other, a section of the hallway with the watchful gaze of the censor of Jacqueline ever present behind you, levitating throughout the hallway.
Right. Didn't we do something about that? That's also like, we're just letting this thing just follow us. We don't have anything.
I don't think we have a choice, Musadee.
Oh, no.
Can you get rid of it? Because I can't.
Can I stab it?
Incorporeal, my friend.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Unless you have dispel magic or some similar power.
Can we be 5th level now? Because then we could.
Then we could do
have
it.
that.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Everyone's 5th level.
Okay, cool.
Let me just mark my sheet real quick. All right, so
As we're chatting too, if it's okay, Wolf, can I just chat up devotion quietly, just about her beliefs and just to get as much information I can, like in a way where I'm just like I'm curious about like your beliefs and like why you joined the force, like the whole 9 yards. Just chatting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm gonna say first of all, everybody give yourselves a point of inspiration for negotiating with devotion, and I'm going to say, Musadee, I'm going to give you an extra point of inspiration, given the emotional recoil that that you experienced in your dealings with our tiefling friend here. Hey there, everyone. Wolf Scott, your host and dungeon master here, to apologize for the mysterious ending of the stream you just watched. I have no idea what happened. My rig just decided to betray us, so I apologize. We don't normally get the fond farewell that the party likes to give everyone on the other side of the screen. But to sort of help recap you, the party have split up. One group is going to talk to Devotion, surface side. The other group is going to help get Creep from in his little watery lair. And it seems like they are going to try and take Creep into the sort of Mimic's cave, sneak Creep around to the library to maybe rile up the ire of Jacqueline and the Forsaken and pull them out of their hiding holes for a climactic confrontation. So hopefully you will be there next time to join us and see all of that. Sorry that we couldn't get more of that done tonight. But that being said, if you stuck around this far, once again, I'm Wolf Scott. I'm your host and Dungeon Master. You're watching Level 1 Adventuring. Level 1 Adventuring is a role-playing game stream. We do tabletop RPGs and digital RPGs, and we do everything from big-name games that you're very familiar with, like D&D, like you just watched, and also more intimate indie and solo games like Firelights and Rune and Reap, so there's tons to see on the channel. If you haven't already, follow us across all socials and on our YouTube and everywhere. That's where we post when we're going live. Also on like our Twitter and our Discord, I share free D&D Homebrew for you to download news for yourself. And also, the Discord is where we're going to have a play-by-post server for D&D 5e, which is going to be a lot of fun for everyone to join in on. Thank you to StreamLabs, Stream Audio, Tabletop Audio, StreamSpell, our chatbot provider, for all of the wonderful services they provide us. And if you click the link down below, onto those services and you use them to upgrade your own stream, we get a kickback, and we very much appreciate you for that. So with that all being said, you all are wonderful. I appreciate all your time and energy that you give us every time we go live, and I'm sorry we couldn't give you a better outro, but I'll do what I can now. We hope to see you next time, and until then, be well. I am going to roll this beautifully crafted outro footage, and till the next adventure.